Coach, obviously a very successful week for your team. Did you learn anything new about your guys last week during the two games?
Yeah, we held serve. At this point, everybody that's trying to stay in the race, you have to protect your home court. That's a cliche. It's been used for decades, and I think it's going to hold true this year. If you want to be there in the end, you better take care of your business on your home court, and then try to steal some wins on the road. I thought we got better this week. We've been really challenging our guys to get back to the staples of what we talk about being in terms of defending and rebounding and just playing really, really hard all the time, and didn't feel like we were always doing that the previous games leading up to this week. And we're still not a finished product, but I felt like we made some positive steps in the right direction. I was really impressed with our offensive flow, like just our spacing and sharing the basketball, and for the most part taking pretty good shots on each and every possession. So that was kind of our goals. Hey, we're either going to get better this week and take a positive step, or we're going to go backwards. And especially Saturday night, with it being February and March is right around the corner, it's time to start trying to play your best basketball here coming down the stretch.
Do you treat this week like any other week, or do you need your guys to know the importance of these two games because of the standings and kind of where you sit right now?
Yeah, I'd be a liar if I said it's every we're going to treat it like we would every other week. I mean, probably a little more film study than normal. The intensity of practice and the attention to detail will probably be a little bit more than normal the next 3 days as we prepare for this road trip. But at the same time, I mean, you're not going to reinvent yourself right now. You've got to kind of do what you do best, both individually and collectively. We don't need anybody to all of a sudden try to do things that they're not been doing for us all year long. But certainly, we understand the magnitude of these games, and hopefully our guys will be ready by Thursday.
How much different do you think the Bakersfield game is going to be without, because you played without AJ, Yvonne was sick, they kind of just dared you to shoot the three, and you finally knocked some down late in the game. Like, I think it's going to be different. It's going to play out a little differently, right?
Yeah, hopefully the result won't be different, but I'd assume the flow of the game will hopefully be different, at least for the first 25, 30 minutes from our perspective. And, I watched that game over the weekend, and that was some rough basketball for us. I mean, but obviously as a coach, you want them to handle situations, but at the same time, watching it now and having, time on your side, it took us a while to kind of get into a flow with him not out there. And, I've said it many times that the point guard position is the most integral part of how we play, and I think a lot of coaches would probably say that, but it took us some time to get into a flow offensively, and fortunately, we relied on our defense for the most part to kind of keep us hanging around that game. And like you said, Yvonne was probably shouldn't have played. He wasn't very productive in the minutes that he did get, and so hopefully, those two guys. Let me backtrack. Hopefully, AJ will help us tremendously, especially on the offensive end. But every game is its own book, and they unfold as they do. And but hopefully, we'll play better offensively.
Kind of piggybacking on what Adam's question was. I mean, do you feel like this weekend could kind of decide the WAC regular season title, or are you even looking at it like that?
Nah, not really. I mean, there's too many games to be played, and too much stuff can happen with that many games to be played, across every program. And we may look back when the season's over and say those were the pivotal games, but I don't think you can sit here and say that a championship's going to be won or lost this weekend. Obviously, I think you take a giant step in that direction if you're able to win these games. And at the same time, you take a pretty big step backwards and if you lose these games, then you're not controlling your own destiny, and you're going to have to rely on other people to help you have a chance to win a championship. And right now, all those teams at the top are still controlling their own destiny, especially with this week, with all of us playing each other. So certainly they're big games in that landscape, but I can't sit here and say that we're going to talk about, we're going to win or lose a conference championship this weekend.
How nice was it to see Clayton Henry have the week that he did shooting the basketball last week?
Yeah, he's playing better. I think it's pretty easy to see. He's got more confidence. He had a bit of an injury that set him back for a while, and then he kind of almost got out of the rotation. And now he's, firmly embedded himself as a starter and, playing, heavy minutes for this kind of team. And, that's what he probably does best is catch and shoot the basketball. And it's something that we don't necessarily do great as a team per our numbers. And so it's nice when, we got, more than one guy that's consistently shooting the ball at a pretty good clip. And, I think it spreads the defense out and gives them more people to worry about, and they can't focus on, certain things that way. So I'm happy for him. I know he's worked hard at his game, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. And he's playing. And the other thing he's doing is he's playing defense. I mean, he's one of our bigger guards, so we need him to be a good defender for us because he has the ability to, play against some of these bigger wings that we face in the league, and we don't have a lot of options. So we certainly need him to shoot the basketball, but more importantly, we need him to be locked in defensively just because of not having a lot of guys built quite like him.
What specifically did you like about, did you guys do better defensively this last week that you and your players both talked about after Saturday's game? They said that defense was a focus, and I was just wondering if there's specifically what you guys did well.
We really just talked about guarding the basketball. And, it's easy to say, and sometimes it's hard to do. Certainly, we have built-in help, for every situation, but our mentality was, hey, let's have some pride individually, and let's not get beat at point of attack, because when everything's said and done, you do all this stuff and you run all this stuff, and you work on all facets of the game. If you can't guard the basketball in space and you can't keep the ball out of the lane one-on-one, you're going to have a hard time winning basketball games. And that was one of our main focuses. Is certainly we continued to scheme and guard their sets, et cetera. But when it broke down is, you're going to have to guard the ball and, take some pride in it. And it's easy to do it, one time, 2 times, 3 times. But, can you do it every time over the course of a basketball game for 40 minutes and, just hit your pants up and just dig in and do it every time. And we talked about that being the definition of toughness, is doing the little things the right way over and over and over and over. And that's kind of been a theme for us. And, we were able to do it for the most part Saturday and not too bad on Thursday, but obviously it'll be a different challenge this week for us.
Will you talk with them at all about making sure they don't look ahead to Saturday, especially after how the Grand Canyon game ended here last time?
Yeah, we talk about that all the time, and I don't envision us having any issues with that at all from anyone in our program. We got a lot of respect for Coach Barnes and his staff and players, and I mean they play so hard and they rebound the ball so hard and they turn you over. And I mean, if you're not locked in and loaded every time down the floor, they're going to embarrass you. And I'm not worried about that at all. We'll be focused on them for the most part this week, and certainly as we get closer, it'll be all about them, and it'll be a challenge for us to go in there and beat them. And they'll be, in a bad mood, if you will, with what happened to them on Saturday, and we're going to take everything they got.
Do you think Yvonne will be able to practice or travel this week?
I'm not sure. He's not going to practice today. I know that for a fact. We're hopeful that maybe, he could start getting on the court, midweek, but I don't envision him playing in these games. I'm not sure if he'll travel or not, but again, I'm not a doctor or a trainer, and they tell me who's available and who's not, and I just go with who we have for available. So that's kind of where he's at.
Were you really happy with the way Mohammed came in those minutes and produced? He hasn't played much recently, but it seemed like you had somewhat of a rhythm during those 2 games.
I was happy for him to get the opportunity. He's such a wonderful kid, and he's worked so hard at his game, and he came in with high expectations, and certainly he's probably as disappointed as anybody. But like I tell everybody all the time, it takes a while for new kids to adjust to Division I basketball and the demands that are placed upon them, and the attention to detail, and just everything that goes into being a Division I player. And some people handle the transition quicker than others, and he's not one of them. But I still believe in Mo. I think he's a really good player, and I've said it before. If we went in the gym right now and they played pickup, everyone would be like, man, he's one of your best players. But it doesn't always work that way, on game night in Division I basketball. So I'm hopeful that this will just boost his confidence. It certainly boosted my confidence and our staff's confidence in him. And obviously, he played more minutes because of Yvonne's injury situation, but he took full advantage of it. And we talk about that all the time, is that, hey, we're a team, and for some of you guys that don't play as much, whenever you get a chance to be in the game, regardless of why, take advantage of it and make me play you. Show me that I have to play you. And that should be your goal every time you get in the game. I don't care if it's the last 2 minutes or the middle 2 minutes of the first half, the second half, or what have you, is take advantage of it. And I thought he did. He certainly wasn't perfect. He made some mistakes. But I think he gave everyone in the program confidence that he can play in these meaningful games.